My name is Grace Mitchell. I was 26 years old when a $10 billion tech company called me first. 1 week earlier, my mother had called my master's degree pointless. She and my father skipped my graduation. 2 seats in row 14 stayed empty the entire ceremony. That should have told me everything I needed to know about my place in that family. But it did not. What told me the truth was what happened after the article came out. The second my name was attached to a deal worth more than $5 million, my whole family suddenly remembered I belonged to them. My mother called on a Friday night. Her voice was soft, too soft. The kind of soft I used to mistake for love when I was younger. "Grace, sweetheart, come home this weekend. We need to have a family meeting." I said yes. Not because I believed her, because I needed to see their faces when I said what I had finally come to understand. But before I tell you what happened at that dinner table in Cedar Hollow, Ohio, take a second to like and subscribe if you enjoy stories like this. And if you want, drop your city and local time in the comments. I always like seeing where people are listening from. Now let me take you back. Back to 3rd grade. Back to a reading test. Back to the first time I understood that whatever was wrong in my family, sooner or later, it was gonna land on me. I remember the classroom clearly. Sunlight across the desks, my teacher writing on the board, the scratch of pencils, everyone else reading quietly, and me staring at the page like it was written in a code I could not break. The letters would not stay still. They slid around, swapped places, blurred together like ants on wet glass. I knew the word was beautiful. I had heard my mother say it 100 times. About my brother's report cards. About the roses in the yard. About Sunday roast. I knew how the word sounded. But on paper, it broke apart. My pencil hovered. My hand shook. When the tests were collected, mine was almost blank. That night, the landline rang during dinner. My mother answered it, listened for less than a minute, and hung up without saying goodbye. Then she looked across the table at my father and said, "The school wants to evaluate Grace. They think she may have a learning problem." My father, Harold Mitchell, set down his fork. He did not look at me. He looked at his plate. My mother, Evelyn Mitchell, lowered her voice and said, "This probably comes from your side of the family." My brother Carter was 12. He was doing algebra at the far end of the table. When my mother said that, he looked at me. Not with cruelty, with relief. The kind of relief you feel when the teacher calls someone else's name. The next morning, before I had finished my cereal, my mother told me I was being moved to a different class. She did not ask if I wanted to. She did not explain what it meant. She had already signed the papers. "I handled it last night," she said, rinsing a plate. "It'll be better this way." I sat there holding my spoon. "Better how?" She sighed like I was exhausting her. "You'll be with kids like you. Kids like you." I was 8 years old. I did not understand the full meaning of the sentence yet, but I understood the tone, the same tone she used for the neighbor's dog when it dug up her flowers. The same tone she used for anything inconvenient. Something to manage, not something to love. That was the first major decision my mother made about my life without asking me. It was not the last. 6 years later, I was 14. Carter was 18 and heading to community college. My mother planned his send-off party like he had just been accepted to the White House. 3 weeks of planning. A banner in the yard, a sheet cake with blue frosting, printed napkins, a guest list, a brand new outfit because Carter needed to look the part. That Saturday, the backyard was packed with more than 30 people. Kids ran past the fence. Adults laughed by the grill. Ice rattled in plastic cups. I was carrying a tray of lemonade when Aunt Linda stopped me and said, "Grace, honey, how's school going?" Before I could answer, my mother appeared at my elbow. "Oh, she's trying her best," she said. "We're just glad she's still keeping up." Then she steered Aunt Linda toward the dessert table. Conversation over, door closed. I stood there holding the tray, still smiling, feeling erased. Nobody asked me anything after that. Not about school, not about grades, not about what I liked, not about what I wanted. That afternoon, I was not a daughter. I was labor. I refilled drinks, cleared plates, folded napkins, wiped tables. At the end of the party, Carter gave a short speech. My father clapped, my mother cried. Then she looked at the crowd and said, "This is the pride of our family. One day he'll take over the store." The store was Mitchell Home and Lumber. my father's hardware and building supply store on Main Street. The family legacy. Carter's future. Carter's inheritance. My mother talked about his future like it had already been carved into stone. Mine never came up. That night, after the last guest left and the banner sagged in the dark, I was cleaning the yard alone. Under a folding chair, I found Carter's old laptop, the one he had replaced that morning, with a brand new MacBook. The screen was cracked, the hinge was loose, the casing was scratched. Nobody cared about it anymore. I took it to my room, opened it, and found a browser tab still up, an HTML tutorial. Half finished. I stared at that screen for a long time. Something shifted in me that night. I did not have a name for it yet. I only knew one thing. For the first time in my life, I was looking at something that made sense. Here is the thing about code. It does not move when you are not looking. Letters on a page had always betrayed me. They flipped, blurred, and traded places until a sentence looked like a foreign language. Code was different. Code followed rules. If it worked, it worked. If it failed, it told you exactly where. No guessing, no judgment, no sigh from across the room, no look that said, "This is all you will ever be." I started teaching myself that same week. I used Carter's cracked laptop and the free Wi-Fi at the library, 2 blocks from our house. I could not read instructions the way other people did, so I downloaded text-to-speech software and listened to tutorials through cheap headphones while other kids my age were out living normal teenage lives. It took me twice as long to learn anything. Sometimes 3 times as long. I did not care. For the first time in my life, something clicked. By 15, I built my first basic website. By 16, I was writing little Python scripts just to format my homework because reading my own handwriting was almost as hard as reading a textbook. By 17, I could debug faster than I could read a restaurant menu. Nobody in my family knew. Not because I hid it. Because nobody asked. One night, my mother walked into my room without knocking. I was hunched over the laptop, green text glowing on a black screen. She stood there for maybe 3 seconds. Then she said, "Stop wasting electricity on that nonsense," and left. I did not correct her. I did not explain. That was the thing about my mother. She never asked because she had already decided the answer. I was the slow one, the difficult one, the one who would be lucky just to finish high school. Why look closer? So she did not. And eventually I stopped waiting for her to. Senior year, I applied to 3 colleges. Computer science, one of them was a public university almost 3 hours away, and it offered me a full scholarship. When the acceptance letter came, I brought it into the kitchen. My mother read it once and set it beside the toaster. "A scholarship for what major?" "Computer science." She opened the fridge. "And who's going to hire you to do that?" That was it. Not congratulations, not wow, not you did it. Just doubt. My father drove me to campus in August. 3 hours on the highway, cornfields outside the window, almost no conversation. When we got there, he carried 2 boxes into the dorm lobby, stood by the car with his hands in his pockets and said, "Remember to call your mother. No good luck. No proud of you. No you did great." Just an instruction. I watched his taillights disappear through the campus gate and felt 2 things at once. Relief and grief. College was brutal. I used reading support software for every assignment. I sat in the front row. I watched professors' mouths when my brain lagged behind audio. Exams took me forever. My GPA was good, not brilliant, but when it came to code, I was excellent. I saw patterns fast. I saw structure before other people could name it. I saw logic the way other people saw color. Sophomore year, I walked into an advanced algorithm seminar taught by Dr. Helen Mercer. Silver hair, sharp eyes, calm voice. She was the first person in my academic life who looked at the way my brain worked and did not treat it like a defect. One day after class, she asked me to stay behind. I thought I had done something wrong. Instead, she set my paper down and said, "Grace, your brain is not broken. It works differently." I stood there in silence. Then she added, "And in this field, different is an advantage." That sentence changed my life. Some people wait years for one person to name the good thing inside them correctly. Dr. Mercer was mine. I finished college. Then I finished my master's degree. 2 years of research, hundreds of pages I had to listen to instead of skim, a thesis that took almost a year. My work focused on a new data compression algorithm for high-volume video streaming. In simple terms, I found a way to move huge amounts of data faster, cheaper, and with less loss. 3 weeks before graduation, I called my mother. My ceremony is May 15th, 10 in the morning. I saved 2 seats for you and Dad. Silence. Then she said, your father's knee has been bothering him, Grace, and Carter is getting a Young Entrepreneur Award that same day. The whole town will be there. My ceremony is at 10, his event is at 6. You can do both. Silence again. Then, oh, honey, that's a lot of driving. And besides, it's just a ceremony. Just a ceremony. 4 years of undergrad, 2 years of graduate work, 6 years of waking up early to listen to textbooks because reading the normal way took too much out of me. Just a ceremony. That night, my father texted me. Sorry, kiddo, your mother's right. We'll celebrate when you come home. Graduation day came. The auditorium was full. Flowers, balloons, homemade signs, families dressed up, little kids squirming in the seats. I walked across the stage, shook hands, and took my diploma. Row 14, seats 7 and 8, empty. Dr. Mercer was there. She clapped louder than anyone. Afterward, I checked my phone. Nothing from my parents. Then I opened Facebook. My mother had posted 2 hours after my ceremony a picture of Carter in a suit holding his plaque. Caption, so proud of our son. Young Entrepreneur of the Year. My mother had never posted anything about me. Not that day. Not before, not after. That was the day I stopped expecting anything from my family. But here is what none of them knew. 2 years later, a $10 billion company was about to call me first. By then, I was 26 and working at a small startup in Columbus. I wrote code during the day and kept refining my compression algorithm at night. My apartment was small, 1 bedroom, a window facing a parking lot, but it was mine. And for those 2 years, I still tried. I sent Christmas cards. I mailed my father a tackle box for his birthday because he used to love fishing before the store swallowed his weekends. I invited my parents to visit. My mother always said, we'd love to, sweetheart. She never came. Carter called once. Once in 2 years. Grace, do you know anything about websites? I'm trying to get the store online. I spent 4 hours helping him set up Shopify. He never said thank you. He never asked how I was doing. Then my father called. Your mother's under a lot of stress. The house needs a few repairs. If you ever want to help out. I sent $2,000 that week. I thought it was for repairs. It was not. No thank you. No follow-up. No call. I kept a contact log on my phone without meaning to. It was just there in the call history. 47 outgoing calls in 2 years. 3 incoming. 2 from Carter. 1 from my father. All practical. None personal. One night, staring at that call log, I realized something that landed in my chest like a stone. If I kept doing this, I was going to spend the rest of my life reaching toward people who had already decided I was not worth reaching back for. And I was going to carry that damage into everything else. Every relationship, every room, every chance to be loved. I had almost made peace with being invisible to them. Then the email came. Tuesday morning, between a spam newsletter and a calendar reminder. Sender, Daniel Wu, CTO of Astron Systems. He had seen my presentation at the ACM conference. He wanted to discuss licensing my algorithm. I read the email 3 times. Astron Systems was worth more than $10 billion. Their clients included some of the biggest streaming platforms in North America. The call led to a flight to San Francisco. The flight led to a conference room on the 32nd floor of a glass tower. 4 engineers, 2 executives, a whiteboard full of my equations. They wanted to license the algorithm. They also wanted me, lead researcher, new compression division. The offer was huge. $350,000 a year in salary, equity vesting over 4 years, a total package worth more than $5 million. I signed on a Thursday. By Friday, the story was everywhere. Tech sites, business sites, then local Ohio coverage. I did not post about it. I did not call anyone. I was not hiding. I just did not have anyone to tell. Dr. Mercer sent me a 1-line email. Told you so. I laughed. Then, less than 48 hours later, my phone rang. Mom. Grace. Sweetheart. Her voice was warm, soft, almost musical. I do not think I had ever actually heard that tone directed at me before. Hi, Mom. I saw the article your father showed me. We're so proud of you. I pulled the phone away from my ear and stared at it. Proud. The word dropped into me like a coin into an empty well. Echo. No water. Proud? Of course. We always knew you were going to do something big. Always knew. The woman who called my graduation pointless. The woman who signed papers moving me out of regular class when I was 8. The woman who told relatives she was just happy I was still keeping up. She always knew. I let the silence sit there. 5 seconds, 7. Then she rushed to fill it. Come home this weekend. We need to have a family meeting. What's the meeting about? Family stuff. Carter has some ideas he wants to share, and your dad misses you. My father had not called in 4 months. Every logical part of my brain said do not go. But there was another part. The 8-year-old part. The 14-year-old part carrying lemonade. That part still hoped. Maybe this time. Okay, I said. I'll come Saturday. I did not say yes, because I believed her. I said yes, because I needed to see their faces when I said what I came to say. And before I tell you what happened at that dinner table, if any part of this feels familiar, leave me a comment. A lot of people know exactly what it feels like to be remembered only when someone needs something from you. Thursday morning, Carter posted on Facebook, "Family is everything. Some people get a little success and forget where they came from. Real ones stay loyal to family. Family first." 70-something likes, mostly Cedar Hollow locals. I took a screenshot. Not because I was angry, because I had learned something in research. Save the data. That afternoon, my grandmother texted me. "The family is so happy for you, Grace." Happy for you. Not happy to see you. I called Noah Bennett. We had gone to college together. He studied pre-law. Now he was an attorney in Columbus. Quiet, careful, exact. "Noah, can you come to Ohio with me on Saturday? Family thing? Family thing. And I need a document drafted. Full renunciation of inheritance rights and any family financial obligation." Pause. "You sure?" "I'm not going there to fight, I'm going there to be free." He said yes. Then, because Noah is Noah, he pulled public records. 20 minutes later he called back. "Grace, there's something you need to know." "What?" "Your parents' house has a second mortgage, $180,000, co-signed by Harold Mitchell and Carter Mitchell, filed 3 years ago." I sat down. "How much?" $180,000. Public record. This is not a family meeting, Grace. It's a collection attempt. Friday, I pieced it all together. 3 years earlier, Carter wanted to expand the store. New system, bigger showroom, delivery truck. The bank financed part of it. My father put the house up for the rest. The $2,000 I had sent for repairs had probably gone toward that debt. My father did not miss me. He missed what I might be able to solve. By Friday night, the picture was complete. The loan had 6 months left before foreclosure became real. Carter needed money. The house needed saving. My father's retirement was probably bleeding out quietly. My mother had spent her whole life betting on one child, and now that bet was collapsing, and I had just signed a contract worth more than $5 million. They did not want me home. They wanted what I represented to walk through the front door. I went anyway. Saturday morning, I packed one bag, one folder, and one person they were not expecting. A lawyer. Noah drove. Cedar Hollow looked the same. Same streets, same porches, same flags, same Main Street. When we passed Mitchell Home and Lumber, the sign was fading and grass was pushing through the lot. Noah parked behind my parents' house. My mother opened the door before I knocked. She hugged me, the first hug in years. It felt like a costume. "Look at you, all grown up." Then she saw Noah. The hug dropped. "Who is this?" "My attorney." 2 seconds of silence, then the smile came back. Thinner now. "Oh, any friend of Grace is welcome." Inside, the house smelled like beef roast. Carter's favorite. Not mine. Mine was chicken and dumplings. Nobody ever remembered that. The table was already set. 8 places, 7 family members, 1 attorney, my father at the head. Carter across from him with his wife Emily, Grandma Rose, Grandpa Arthur. I glanced at the wall on the way in. Every framed photo was Carter. Graduation, wedding, store ribbon cutting, not one of me. We sat down. My mother served dinner in her church voice. Warm, controlled, rehearsed. "I'm just so happy we're all together. Family is what matters most." Then she turned to me. "Your father and I have been following your career, Grace. We're so proud." My father nodded, said nothing. Carter leaned back. "Congrats. Working with those big companies must be pretty wild." Emily stared at her plate. Grandma Rose patted my hand. "I always knew you were special. Always knew." I chewed my pot roast slowly. I was not in a hurry. Small talk drifted around the table. Knees, gardens, store plans. My mother kept steering every subject back to family. No one mentioned money. Not yet. They were circling it. I let them. The plates were cleared. My mother brought out coffee and a pecan pie, store-bought. That alone told me she was rattled. She set it down, did not slice it. Looked at Carter. He straightened instantly. Grace, my mother said, Carter has been working so hard to keep the store going. It's a difficult economy for small businesses right now. Carter took over. I've got a plan to go digital. Delivery, online ordering, the whole thing. But I need capital. About 200,000, he said it casually. Like he was asking me to pass the salt. My mother jumped in. We were thinking that since you're doing so well now, maybe you could invest in the family business, keep everything under the Mitchell name. Every eye at the table turned to me. My father, my mother, Carter, Emily, my grandparents. 7 people waiting. Grandpa Arthur cleared his throat. That's what family does, Grace? I set down my coffee cup, looked at each one of them, and asked one question. When was the last time anyone in this room called me before that article came out? Silence. Clock ticking. A spoon against a saucer. Emily staring down. Carter tight-jawed. My father staring at the tablecloth. No one answered, because they all knew the answer, never. My mother recovered first. Grace, this is not about… I didn't ask what it was about, I said. I asked a question. The room shifted. My father spoke next. Grace, there's something else. The house, he said. I took out a loan a few years ago. Things got tight. If we can't fix it in the next 6 months, we could lose it. My mother turned to him. What loan? Her voice went from soft to metal. My father still would not look at her. It was for the store expansion. For Carter. I co-signed the second mortgage. You used the house as collateral? Carter cut in. Dad said the bank had it covered. The bank covered part of it. How much? My mother asked. No one moved. 180,000. Grandma Rose gasped. Grandpa Arthur put a hand on hers. Emily pushed her chair back like the debt had become physical. And just like that, the fake family meeting cracked open. My mother looked genuinely shocked. Real shock. But not total surprise. One glance told me she had known something was wrong, just not how wrong. Carter started blaming with his eyes. My father shrank into himself. I sat still. I had known since Thursday, but I needed them to say it out loud, in front of witnesses, so nobody could rewrite it later. The truth was on the table now, right beside the pie. My mother regrouped fast. Of course she did. That's exactly why, she said, steady again. Grace is the only one who can help. I looked at her. You skipped my graduation. That was a long time ago. You called it pointless. I didn't mean it like that. You signed papers moving me into a special learning program when I was 8. No conversation, no explanation. Her jaw set. I did what I thought was best. No, I said. You did what was easiest. The room went quiet. Grandma Rose leaned forward. Your mother sacrificed everything for this family. I looked at her. Everything except showing up for me. My grandmother fell silent. My mother tried one more angle. So now you're going to punish this whole family after everything this house has done for you? What exactly has this family done for me? I meant it. I wanted an answer. Can you name one thing? She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. 5 seconds. That was all it took. I reached for the folder. Plain manila, no label, no drama. Inside was one sheet. This is a timeline, I said. It's not an accusation, it's a record. Then I read. March when I was 8. Evelyn Mitchell signed paperwork moving Grace Mitchell into a separate learning support program without discussing it with her first. May when I was 14. Carter Mitchell's going away party. More than 30 guests. Banner, cake, speech. Grace Mitchell served lemonade. August when I was 18. Harold Mitchell drove Grace to college. Offered no words of congratulations. May 15th, when I was 24. Grace Mitchell graduated with her master's degree. 2 empty seats in row 14. Same day, Evelyn Mitchell posted publicly celebrating Carter Mitchell's Young Entrepreneur Award. Following 2 years, Grace called home 47 times. Family called back 3 times. 2 about a website. 1 about money. I looked up. The room was frozen. You kept count? My mother asked. I didn't have to, I said. My phone did. Grandpa Arthur looked at my mother differently then. Not angry. Recalculating. I turned to the next page. There's one more thing. I nodded to Noah. He opened his briefcase. According to public records, the Mitchell residence currently carries a second mortgage in the amount of $180,000, co-signed by Harold Mitchell and Carter Mitchell. He paused. Let the number sit there. My mother turned to my father. You used the house? You told me it was a small credit line, she said. My father swallowed hard. Carter snapped. My father snapped back. The table broke. Voices rose. Blame flew. Emily sat frozen. Grandma Rose cried. Grandpa Arthur said nothing. I did not step in. This was their debt, their lies, their choices, not mine. After a minute or two, the fight burned itself out the way family fights always do, not with resolution, with exhaustion. Then Noah spoke again. Grace asked me to prepare one additional document. He said it in front of me. My mother stared. What is that? Freedom, I said, for all of us. I looked around the table. I'm not here to save the house. I'm not here to fund Carter's store. I came here to make one thing legal and clear. I have no financial obligation to this family, and this family has no right to use words like inheritance, legacy, or family duty to bind me in the future. Carter leaned back. You're really cutting us off? No, I said. I'm releasing us. That's different. Grandma Rose shook her head. Grace, you don't mean that. Yes, I do. My father stared at the paper like it was a bill for everything he had lost. My mother looked at me hard. After everything I've done for you, she said. You fed me. You housed me, I said. That's not the same as raising me. Her mouth tightened. You're going to regret this? Maybe, I said, but not as much as I'd regret staying. I picked up the pen. My mother made one last attempt. I'm your mother, Grace. I carried you. I stayed up with you when you were sick. I sat in those school offices and fought for you. I looked straight at her. You sat in that office and signed papers. You didn't fight for me. You transferred me. That was the first time all evening she had no reply. I signed. My handwriting was messy, it always is, but it was legible. Grace Mitchell. Noah signed as witness, one copy into his case, one copy left in the center of the table. Grandma Rose cried openly now. Grandpa Arthur put an arm around her and gave me one small nod. Not approval. Understanding. I stood up. There's something I want all of you to know, I said. I didn't come here angry. I came here sad, because I spent 26 years hoping this table would feel like home. I looked at the wall where my picture never was. It never did. I picked up my bag. Noah stood beside me. We walked to the front door. It was 12 steps from the table. I knew because I used to count them as a child, running toward the sound of my father's car, hoping maybe tonight somebody would ask me about my day. When I was little, those 12 steps meant hope. That night, they meant leaving it. At the door, I turned back one last time. I looked at my father. Dad, I hope you figure out the house. I mean that, but that is your responsibility, not mine. I looked at Carter. I hope the store survives, but what you need is a business plan, not a sister with a checkbook. Then I looked at my mother. I hope one day you understand that loving someone means showing up for them, not remembering them when it's convenient. She stood up so fast, the chair scraped the floor, hands white on the chair back, watching everything she built come apart. I opened the door. October air hit my face. Yellow leaves in the driveway. Noah stepped toward the car. Then I heard a voice behind me. Grace? Carter? I stopped on the porch. Did not turn right away. Then I did. Under the porch light, he looked smaller than he ever had in my memory. Smaller than the golden child in the framed photos. Smaller than the man at the table. Grace, wait, this is our family. You can't just walk away. When was the last time you called me just to ask how I was doing? I asked. He opened his mouth. Nothing. Finally, he said, I didn't know it was that bad. I know, I said. That's part of the problem. He stood there, 32 years old. Already looking tired in a way that had nothing to do with work and everything to do with being built on other people's expectations. I'm not punishing you, I said, but I can't keep being the person this family remembers only when they need something. He nodded. Not agreement. Recognition. Take care of Emily, I said. She deserves better than this. Then I got in the car. In the side mirror, I saw the house one last time. Carter on the porch, my mother at the curtain. My father still at the table, staring at the paper. We pulled out of the driveway. For 30 minutes neither of us spoke. Then Noah asked, You okay? No, I said, but I will be. He turned the radio on low. A country song about leaving town. I almost laughed. Outside, the same Ohio fields passed by, the same road, the same corn. But this time, I was not the girl being taken somewhere. I was the woman choosing where to go. My phone buzzed. Mom. You'll regret this. Blood is thicker than water. I read it, turned the phone face down. 3 minutes later, another message. Grandpa Arthur, your grandmother and I are sorry. We should have spoken up sooner. 11 words. The first real apology I had ever gotten from my family. I stared at it, then typed back. Thank you. That means more than you know. He replied with a single period. That was him. Say exactly what you mean. Stop. I got back to my apartment after midnight. Everything was exactly where I left it. I opened my laptop. Orientation with Astron started Monday. New apartment, relocation, new life in less than 72 hours. I closed that email and opened another. Typed one sentence to Dr. Mercer. Thank you for showing up when my family didn't. She replied at 12:47 a.m. One line, go change the world, Grace. You deserve it. I sat there in the quiet, no calls, no demands, no one asking for money. For the first time in my life, I did not need anyone else to tell me I was enough. The empty seats, the unanswered calls, the banner that never met me. None of it changed the fact that I was sitting in my own apartment, about to begin a life I had built with the very mind they had spent years underestimating. I looked at the cactus on the windowsill. It was blooming. One small orange flower. Stubborn. Ridiculous. Alive. That should have been the end. But in towns like Cedar Hollow, fallout travels fast. Setting one boundary did not end the story. It just revealed who people really were. The second I stopped saying yes. 3 months after that dinner, Mitchell Home and Lumber closed. Carter posted a long Facebook message full of phrases like market conditions and difficult decision. He thanked the community. He did not mention me. He did not mention the mortgage. He did not mention that Emily filed for legal separation 2 weeks later, after learning how much debt he had hidden from her. Emily moved to Dayton. Carter moved back into his childhood bedroom. Grandpa Arthur told me all of it during the weekly Sunday calls that started after that dinner. He never sugarcoated anything. He just gave me facts. One week he said, Carter's working at Home Depot now, lumber section. I did not know whether to laugh or cry, so I did neither. There was something cruelly symmetrical about it. My father had to sell the house in January. The bank gave them 60 days. He could not save it. The retirement money was already partly gone. The house sold to a young couple from Columbus. My parents moved into a 2-bedroom apartment above the old barber shop. My mother started volunteering at the church thrift store. Not because she had changed, because she needed somewhere to go. She blamed my father. My father blamed Carter. Carter blamed the economy. No one blamed themselves. My father called me once after that. I know I was wrong, he said, but your mother's not doing well. She can't sleep, she's barely eating. I closed my eyes. I'm sorry to hear that, Dad, but I'm not the person who can help with that. Long silence. Then he said, I understand. He hung up. I cried after that call. Not because I regretted anything, because those 2 words were the most honest thing he had ever said to me. My mother chose a different strategy. She rewrote the story. To family, to neighbors, to churchwomen. Grace got money and abandoned us. Cold. Ungrateful. That version lasted maybe 2 weeks. Then Grandpa Arthur started making calls of his own. He did not defend me with emotion. He defended me with facts. 47 unanswered calls. 2 empty graduation seats. The paper signed when I was 8. The Facebook post about Carter on the same day I got my master's degree. He let people draw their own conclusions. By February, the tone in Cedar Hollow had changed. Not dramatically. Small towns are slow, but enough. My mother stopped getting asked to organize church things. Aunt Linda stopped commenting on Carter's posts. The neighbors stopped dropping by. My mother never apologized. I never expected her to. By Christmas, though, a card came to my apartment in San Francisco. My mother's handwriting. Wishing you peace this Christmas. I hope you are happy. Not warm, not cruel, something in between. I taped it to my refrigerator. I did not answer it, but I did not throw it away either. I started at Astron Systems in November. Glass offices, Market Street. 32 floors up. My team had 12 people. I was the youngest. I was also the only one with dyslexia. On my first day, I used reading support software in a meeting without apologizing for it. Nobody blinked. Nobody said I was trying my best. They just looked at the work, asked questions, listened to the answers. 3 months later, the CTO stood up in an all-hands meeting with about 400 people in the room and said, Grace Mitchell's compression algorithm is projected to save our clients roughly $200 million in bandwidth costs every year. She built it because she thinks differently. And that is not a weakness. It is one of our competitive advantages. 400 people applauded. I sat there and let that sound hit me. It was not the same as having proud parents. It did not heal childhood. It did not erase empty seats. But it was real. 1 year after that dinner, I was 27. I had an apartment in San Francisco with a window facing the bay. Friends, a running group, a neighbor who brought sourdough, coworkers who liked me for who I was now, not who my family had decided I would always be. None of them knew I used to be the girl sent away to special learning support. None of them needed to. Grandpa Arthur still called every Sunday. One Sunday night in January, I did something I had not done in years. I wrote by hand, a letter to my mother. The handwriting was bad, dyslexia never left. But I wrote anyway. I told her I forgave her, not because she earned it, because I deserved to put it down. I forgave the form, the banner, the graduation, the post, the calls, the dinners built around Carter. Then I folded the letter and put it in my desk drawer. I never mailed it. The person who needed to read it already had me. After that, I opened my laptop and went back to a personal project I had been building. An open-source text-to-speech tool for children with dyslexia. I named it Mercer. After the first person who told me my brain was not wrong. I want to be honest about something. I did not need them to fail for me to finally feel free. I just stopped letting them define me. For 26 years, I was the dyslexic daughter in the Mitchell family. The one they pushed aside. The one who carried lemonade. The one whose graduation was called pointless. The one nobody called back. Then one day, I stopped accepting that definition. Not because a $10 billion company called me. Money did not make me valuable. It just revealed who had refused to see my value before. Some people only recognize your worth when the world puts a price tag on it. But it was there long before the offer letter. Long before the article. Long before the money. It was there when you were 8, and still trying. Boundaries are not punishment. They are the line between the version of you they needed and the version of you are becoming. I drew that line because staying on the wrong side of it was costing me more than any amount of money could fix. One Tuesday morning in March, I got an email from a school in rural Michigan. A 12-year-old girl named Hannah had used my app. She wrote, "This is the first time I haven't felt stupid." I read it 3 times, then I cried, the deep kind, the kind that comes from hearing, in someone else's voice, the words you needed when you were 12. I wrote back, "You are not stupid, you never were, and one day you are going to build something that changes the world. I am not guessing, I know." Then I closed my laptop and looked out at the Golden Gate Bridge half hidden in fog. My phone was silent, no one was calling, and for the first time, that silence did not feel like abandonment. It felt like space. My name is Grace Mitchell. I was 26 when Astron Systems called me. I was still 26 the night I sat at that dinner table, and I was 27 when I finally understood what home really meant. Home is not always where you were born. Sometimes it is the teacher who saw you clearly, the friend who drove with you into the dark, the grandfather who came late but came honestly, the coworkers who clapped for what was always there. The 12-year-old girl in Michigan, who finally stopped feeling stupid. And sometimes, after enough years of being left behind, home is simply yourself. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you. And I want to ask you something. If you had been sitting at that dinner table that night, would you have signed the paper? Or would you have given them the money? Tell me in the comments. And if you enjoy stories like this, like and subscribe, so I will see you in the next one.